Meet Arthur Curtis, successful businessman. Oh, he may look 47, but he's a healthy man 36 years of age. He's got a loving wife, a daughter, and plans to spend his vacation in the faraway land of San Francisco. Just one problem. He isn't real. This is a story about a character living his life in the unforgiving world of Hollywood. This episode was written by Richard Matheson and directed by Ted Post. As always, the alternative theories mentioned within may cause anxiety, rage, and disbelief, but that's why you're here, I hope. And kindly consider leaving a like, share, or subscribe if you enjoyed this video. Now, put on your reading glasses and see if you spot the actor from the fictional character he's playing. It's a world of difference. It's not just another day at the office of the Davis Morton Company. For one Arthur Curtis, he's looking forward to a long, planned vacation with his wife Marion in San Francisco. Sitting down at his desk, he learns the phone is out. He's unable to work, and the limitations of early 1960s technology makes it impossible to find another way of communicating with the world. Without his work, his life crumbles around him. The walls separating him and reality come tumbling down as the director yells cut. Arthur just notices the stage lights, the crew, the set decorations that defined his world. He can't understand, won't understand where he is. Arthur Curtis is a character in a Hollywood movie still in production, played by Gerry Raigan, a struggling movie star who really needed this gig. But Gerry keeps playing dumb, with that deer-in-the-headlights look on his face. Even in 1960, the cost of running a soundstage on the MGM backlot wasn't cheap. The frustrated director ends the shoot early, sending all of the hourly paid crew out the door. Gerry, the actor, is told to shape up or he'll get fired, but Arthur, the character, runs out of the studio looking for his fictional home. This is when his luck turns for the worst. Arthur is about to be run over by his ex-wife Nora, who shows up demanding money when Arthur is supposed to be busy at work, acting. The Arthur Gerry character denies any memory of Nora, their marriage, and the money he owes her. But Nora is a patient woman, greedy and patient. She agrees to go along with Arthur to his home. Arthur Gerry can't locate his house from the many neighborhoods that populate Los Angeles. Mistaking a little girl for his daughter, he grabs the innocent little child. The girl runs away, frightened and scared. Nora pleads with Gerry to drive off. Nora takes her ex-husband to his real home, the home of Gerry Raigan. Brinkley, Gerry's agent, is there and tries to speak with Gerry as if somewhere, deep down, he is still somewhat sane. No, Arthur is still in charge, and picks up the phone, that's how things were done back then, and asks the operator for the number of his work. He is told there is no Davis Morton Company. From here, we assume exhaustion hits him, and he goes to the bedroom to take a nap. Brinkley had hoped Gerry would be a new man when he woke up, but the illusion runs deep. Brinkley shows Gerry the script of his movie project. Everything Gerry knows is inside it. Brinkley tells him he's having a nervous breakdown. Brinkley then shares the movie is being canceled. He drops the script into the trash can and announces they're tearing down the set. Arthur Curtis is dead. Arthur Gerry rushes back to the soundstage. The world he knew as Arthur Curtis is being dismantled in front of him. He sits, he pleads, he prays. The world around Arthur Curtis reassembles. His office is real. No studio lights, no director, no script. His wife Marion walks in, and Arthur is exuberant, thrilled, and happy. His loyal secretary Sally hands him the airline tickets that frees him to his vacation. They leave the office, the soundstage. Arthur distinctly hears voices from the other world and rushes out before he's trapped. Meanwhile, Brinkley comes to the soundstage at the last moments of breakdown. The crew who saw Gerry last never saw him leave. The only evidence of Arthur Curtis's existence is in the script. This leaves Brinkley asking himself, what of Gerry? The theme of the episode is the fourth wall, when a fictional character breaches the boundary between realities. Not a multiverse, but a dimensional reality that is more aware of itself than the other. One that has dominion or observation rights over another. The universe you and I occupy may be described as the prime reality. When we observe a make-believe performance, one with its own set of characters, lore, and universal rules, we may describe that as a fictional universe. We are fully aware that this is made up for our entertainment. Sometimes the fictional universe we peek inside through a means known as a portal has their own fictional world, a movie within a movie. The characters within this fantastical world normally would not acknowledge they are trapped in an audio-video production. Otherwise, that would break the suspension of disbelief. Think legitimate theater. But sometimes it happens. It can be a wink and a nod to the viewer. It can turn totally into a farce. But in this case, I'm specifically discussing when a character is pulled out of their fictional universe into another that is more cognizant. The Truman Show is a very well-known example about different perceptions of reality. But it is inception level of complexity compared to the Twilight Zone's A World of Difference. Here, the super-fictional character of Arthur Curtis makes his appearance as Gerry Raigan's doppelganger. The Arthur personality manifests out in the open, in front of witnesses. This sudden and stunning introduction comes with a great disbelief shown by Arthur and everyone else. With all the makings of a fish out of water, A World of Difference is no comedy. It's played straight up. With the efficiency necessary in a less than 30-minute production, considering commercials, there is no nuance, no scientific technobabble. It's a fictional character out of his world in another, similar universe. The episode's gimmick is simply, what would happen if a fictional character steps out of his show into the real world? To make room for our advertisers, the episode doesn't bother with having Arthur discover a newer, broader universe. It forgoes any attempt to have him adapt to the new reality. His closest attempt at coping is taking a nap. In fact, we learn more about Gerry's life when he poses as Arthur. The idea of having a fictional personality cross realities is interesting. However, it's time to address the elephant in the room. Gerry Raigan is a sick man. A bad marriage, drinking problems, a reputation of being unreliable on the set took its toll, broke Gerry the man who became Arthur Curtis. Gerry, in a strange way, got to live another life in another man's shoes, and never left. Arthur Gerry had a good job, a happy wife, and a child. All things denied to him in the upper universe. There is evidence, as told by Brinkley, that everything is written in the screenplay, which means Arthur only knows what his alter ego Gerry had read in the script. This clue becomes more important later. What's also of interest is Arthur doesn't have much of a history or lore. His film, his world is incomplete. For all we know, these few moments on the set is everything as envisioned by its creator. Whether it's The Truman Show or Galaxy Quest, we see fictional personalities play off of years of stagecraft. For Gerry Raigan, it might as well be minutes. Gerry is so screwed up, he based his fictional life on an unreleased, incomplete film. We wonder, when did the Arthur personality take control of the Gerry personality? Gerry Raigan had to show up to the soundstage, get into wardrobe and makeup, and take his cue from the director when he barked action. My guess was when Arthur noticed his fake phone was a dead line. Something snapped. My theory is supported by the phone number Gerry dialed. Unless this was in the script, who knows, it could have been. Gerry the actor played along. But it was Arthur Curtis who expected someone on the other side. Besides, had Gerry gone off script in the scene beforehand, the director would have said something earlier. I looked for little hints in the episode, clues that something was wrong with the universe. There was that awfully strange rewind with Marion, an awkward pause of footage at the very end of the episode. There's even an infinity sprinkler that never turns itself off. But I don't think they're deliberate signals of something supernatural, just results of unfortunate editing. But what if we take a closer look at the private world of Arthur Curtis that only exists on the soundstage of the MGM Studios backlot? With the help of this crude diagram, we can piece together Arthur's short-lived universe. We begin with the door to Suite 612. This is where Arthur and Sally will enter through. Next is the far window behind the desk. We know Arthur is looking at a facade. There's a mysterious door to the far right, perhaps a closet or an adjacent conference room. The door seems very far deep into the room. We now come to the sliding door that leads into Arthur's office. He walks past a potted plant, little doubt as fake as he. Above it is a lighting fixture that is about the same distance from the edge of the door as the painting on the other side of the wall. It gives us a sense of scale, distance between the edge of the door and the edge of the room. This is curious because we see the door can't possibly lead to a room on the other side. But how the walls are pushed out, it might be just a tiny closet. Arthur walks back across the room to the window to our far left. We know later there is a facade behind it. Then he sits at the desk before the telephone cuts out, and Arthur discovers he's putting on a very poor performance. If you read The Twilight Zone Companion by Mark Zickery, you'll learn the entire sequence from Arthur entering his office to when he discovers he's on the set was one long take. We assume from a camera at the near edge of the set. When Arthur Gerry looks in on the actress who plays Sally, we see the exposed soundstage to our left. Now, we're going to get into some alternative theories. It's time to ask ourselves, from what reality were we watching Arthur? If you think it was too easy for Gerry to get confused, hold on. We're going to discover a universe within a universe. Let's start with a perspective seen through the eyes of the director, Marty Fisher. This is a good place to start, since this is his production we're seeing play out in front of our eyes. Gerry, Raigan, and the stage crew get into positions. The director says action, and Arthur Curtis makes his entrance. Through Marty's eyes, this is one seamless cut between two angles, the near stage and the one to our left. For this to work in real time as Martin sees it, we would have to have a second camera and crew to the left. We get a peek when the actress playing Sally is putting her feet up on her desk. Many of the shots would indicate it is coming from that direction. The camera later pans, following Arthur, including a slow zoom. Through the director's eyes, we're made to believe they would have to be two cameras to stitch together the transition from one room to the other. This is where the episode deceives us. It is possible that a production could front the expense of two cameras and two crews, and without the benefit of readjusting the lighting. Generally, especially television episodes shot on film, they use one. In addition, the director wouldn't be positioned where he can't see the actor perform the lines. While we can continue to debate, let me show you what can't be done without a break on the set. That is the cut between Arthur staring out the window and Sally entering the office. This is more considered a match cut, since the time between a close-up on Arthur and the wide shot on Sally is immediate. In Marty, the director's world, he would have to call cut, the camera repositioned to focus on the door, and a call for action cueing Sally's entrance. But we didn't see that. We're stuck in limbo, in a world between the set of the MGM Studios and the set of the private world of Arthur Curtis. The editor, literally and fictitiously, snipped this passage of time out of our consciousness. If you're not with me yet, here's a cut from an impossible angle. Sally's close-up would have been filmed near Arthur in the sliding door. Is this intended footage for the audience of the private world of Arthur Curtis? Or is this shot only made aware by the audience of a world of difference? The height of the camera, the way she shifts her eyes, is a cinematic cue this is not Arthur's point of view. So, who does it belong to? When the camera on set is revealed, this is the camera in the prime fictional universe that supposedly followed Arthur. But we're seeing reality through another lens, the one that followed Arthur Gerry around on the set. Arthur Gerry doesn't know where he is, who he is. He's discovered a new world with rules about cues, scripted lines, and observers who watch his every move, recorded on film, forever. So, what happened to Gerry? One theory, it is what Rod Serling said happened. He says in his closing narration, the modus operandi for the departure from life is usually a pine box of such and such dimensions, and this is the ultimate in reality. But there are other ways for a man to exit from life. Take the case of Arthur Curtis, age 36. His departure was along a highway with an exit sign that reads, "This way to escape." Arthur Curtis en route to the Twilight Zone. The problem? He was talking about Arthur Curtis, not Gerry Raigan. The solution boils down, if you believe Arthur Gerry transformed, mutated as you will, into a supernatural being, that the body of Gerry Raigan, with the implanted memories of Arthur, dissolved into a new reality beyond what was written in the script. This would explain Gerry's disappearance. But really, did a new universe experience Genesis, sprouting out of nothingness from one man's depression? The episode frames an escape for Gerry under a new pseudonym, like a witness protection program. But let's remember that Arthur's early plane ticket was part of the script as recited in the beginning of the episode. His departure with Marion may have well been part of the original storyline as Gerry rehearsed. This could be Gerry's final thoughts, his final prayers as he hopes it would be. The movie had a happy ending, and Gerry wanted to live long enough to see it. What about Brinkley, who said,
"The only information you have about Arthur Curtis is written in this script. No. Gerry, sometimes I'd like to escape myself. Away from this turmoil."
This is coming from someone who knew Gerry best. Could the best explanation be the simplest? You're going to ask, what happened to Gerry if no one saw him leave? Here's a depressing thought. No one saw him leave because no one cared. The episode's prime fictional reality is crystal clear. The production and Gerry Raigan's career is over. If you were looking for clues that validate a new universe for Arthur, we go back to the floor plan. A mysterious hallway appears that may have not been constructed. Are we seeing this from a third exposed area of the soundstage? Or is this evidence that reality has materialized beyond what was written in the script? Opinions of a world of difference depend whether you believe Arthur Curtis was a supernatural character or not. If you think Gerry Raigan just flipped out, then yes, it's a pretty shallow episode, masquerading as a movie character no one ever and will never hear of. But if you think the episode has a clever subtext about the nature of reality and how easy it is to be fooled, then it's more than just melodrama about shooting schedules, an ex-wife described as
that harpy,
and taking a nap. The episode is a reimagining of 16mm Shrine, where an actor struggles emotionally, wishes for another time and place, and vanishes into an alternate reality and is happier for it. I struggled with rating this since I consider 16mm Shrine a better episode. But if I get behind the idea of Arthur Curtis pulled into a different, more cruel world,
GERALD,
then it becomes a brain-teasing, if not overly efficient story. It took the performance of the lead, Howard Duff, to have empathy for him and wanting him to escape, if not find peace. Because I watched it on syndicated television, I was familiar with David White as Brinkley, who was Larry Tate on Bewitched. Seeing him in a Twilight Zone episode gave it some gravitas. I rate A World of Difference 3 dimensions out of 5. It does have a couple tropes, tag them alternate reality and supernatural character. This is Mr. G of Synergy leaving you with these final words. Never take your work home, even in the Twilight Zone. Check out other videos on the channel. Thanks for watching.